Are you ready? Are you set? 'Cause it's time to embrace the Nerds! That's right, everybody. It's time for Nerds and Nitwits. Say hi, Cam.
Woot, woot.
Things look a little bit different tonight because it is just Mr. Dwarf and myself. Everybody else is either out of town or
Baby.
busy working. So, if you haven't met us before, hi, I'm Groot, and this is
Dwarf.
the delay on that. That was beautiful. I love it.
Had to process.
You had to process. Fair enough. Well, we had so many exciting plans for this week with just the two of us, and then
Yep.
we all dropped the ball on it. So and
Well,
then we got sick. We did drop. We did.
I
Drop
didn't
the ball.
drop the ball.
I mean,
I had planned to do things, and then it turns out I was sick on the 2 days I had planned for doing things.
Well.
So,
we'll just do it later.
yeah.
Which I just realized.
If you guys want to see us do a game show episode, let us know.
I love game show episodes. But yeah, we are here tonight to just hang out, chat with you guys, answer your questions. I took some suggestions and requests and questions earlier in the day, so we're going to mention a few things like that. And if you guys have any questions, like Cam said in the chat there, if you have anything you want us to talk about, go ahead and do it. I know if Gizzy was here, he would mention. Have you seen the dire wolf thing? Have you seen that yet?
I have.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen this, what Groot is talking about here is some scientists, maybe mad scientists, I don't know, they did something crazy. They took the DNA from direwolves, which have been extinct for thousands of years, and just made 3 new ones that are alive and breathing. They just cloned them from old DNA they found from thousands of year old dead wolves.
One of the other fandom nerdy part of that is that these guys told J.R.R. Martin about it and then swore him to secrecy. So he got to see these wolves like shortly after they were born, whatever. You got to see them as puppies, like knew about the project, and then told them, "Cool, you now know this. You can't tell anybody." Because
that's insane.
Because the direwolves play such a huge part in, especially the first Game of Thrones book, and then going in through the series, like it's a pivotal moment in the book, and he was like, "This is the coolest thing, and now I have to keep my mouth shut until I'm given the permission." So there's a photo set of him holding all 3 of these pure white direwolves. Like, that is kind of a cool shot, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I was like, that's kind of funny.
They went extinct 13,000 years ago, and now they just exist again because some people were really smart.
Well, yes. So that was like one fun of nerdiness, and then the prior discussion that Gizzy and I were talking about yesterday is because their next step they said they want to do is to recreate the woolly mammoth, and so the next thought was, at what point is it too far, and at what point are we getting too close to Jurassic Park?
I want the dodo, obviously. Who doesn't? After that, I don't care what else they do. Just straight up. Like, nothing beats the dodo. The only thing that didn't deserve to go extinct.
Such a weird little bird, for sure. But
yeah,
it's like, if we can do that, if we can bring back direwolves, if we can bring back woolly mammoths, if we can start like pushing the limits, do we pull a Jurassic Park? And is that a good idea?
Well, here's my other question then. If they can do that with the genetics of an animal, what's to stop them from just cloning you and making another you after you die?
That's a great question.
Like, You wouldn't be you, but genetically it would be.
Genetically, yes, but not actually.
Yeah. If you guys have an animal that you'd like to see come back from extinction, you can let us know in the chat.
Ayo.
And if you say something cool enough, we'll shout you out
Something cool
because we
enough.
like you. Sherryberry had probably a thought-provoking question here. What are your top 5 favorite video games of all time?
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about this, but it's still a hard question.
We've definitely come close. I mean, my top would be I would just put number 1 would just be Halo, and it would include all of them because otherwise the list would just be Halo games.
It's true.
So yeah, I'd have to put just Halo as a series on top. But after that, it gets harder. I think Titanfall 2 would be somewhere in my top 5. Um, I don't know. I mean, Rhyme might make it into my top 5. Uh, I mean, that's a big question.
Right?
Top 5 video games of all time.
Like, I can do top 5 series, no problem.
Yeah,
Individual
well,
games,
that
I don't know.
like series wise, it would be like Fallout, Halo, Elder Scrolls, probably. I'd almost include Titanfall as a series just because of Titanfall 2. I did play one. Titanfall 2 was so much better
The story mode in
in some
Titanfall
ways.
2 was better.
Yeah, the story was amazing. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's always such a hard thing.
Like, individual games is such. Like, I'm trying to think of what would actually. If I was trying to nail series, no problem. Because, like Kingdom Hearts, Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, Monster Hunter, and, uh, like, Spyro would be, like,
Lord Potato, I've got something for you on that in a minute. Once Groot's done here.
those would be my top 5 series. But as for individual games, like, if I was trying to do individual games, it'd probably be like, in no particular order, be like Kingdom Hearts 2,
Oh yeah,
um,
good one.
Twilight Princess, one of my favorite Zelda games, if not my favorite Zelda games. Um, oh, again, it's hard to pick like a like individual Monster
Like
Hunter game.
individual games.
Like
Yeah.
I would say Monster Hunter Try because that was the first one that I played and got me hooked on the series. But Monster Hunter World, like I enjoy playing Monster Hunter World better than or like more than I would playing Try now. Um, man, like I don't know.
I'd maybe say Ocarina of Time.
Yeah,
Or like Pokemon Platinum though. Oh, it
yeah,
gets
like
so
the
hard to pick
Pokemon. Like
5.
this is the thing is like this is what we did like the second episode where we talked about like top 5 Pokemon
Yeah.
games, top 5 Zelda games.
Yeah.
What was the other one I just had? I was just thinking about it. It was right there. I can like see it in my mind, and it is gone. Crap. What was it? We were talking about series, Monster Hunter, Pokemon. Oh, again, it's a duo thing, but I do think, gameplay wise and story wise, I do think Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War fit into my top 5. The
Oh,
Nemesis
that's a good.
system, everything about it. So, but anyways, that one's like a whole other like discussion. I think again that we could have later on. But
Oh yeah, that totally is. I mean, yeah, it gets really hard to pick because there's so many games that I feel like you want to include. Like you almost have to narrow it down by picking things you don't like which games have the most things you
mhm,
don't like, and getting rid of them until you've only got 5 left. Like
yeah,
I feel like you can't just pick based on favorite.
yeah, for sure.
But Titanfall 3. Have you, Lord Potato, have you read recently about Titanfall 3? I know, okay, if you guys aren't aware, the Titanfall community but is pretty much schizophrenic about Titanfall 3. It has been almost 10 years since Titanfall 2 released, and Titanfall 2 was amazing. People loved it. And there's still people, like thousands of people who play the game. And they have never released a 3, and no one thought they would. And every time there's like a hint of something, people would lose their minds until like years later, and people finally were like, okay, you know what? They're never going to do it. Let's chill out. Recently, and I'm going to be so heartbroken here. Recently, some leakers who are they're well known for being legitimate and actually leaking proper information did leak that Titanfall 3 is supposed to come out in 2026.
See,
Now, there's been so many moments like this over the last 9 years that I don't believe it.
I
But if
even
it happens, I'm gonna lose my crap.
well, even an article that came out yesterday morning from somebody with like that somebody talked to somebody within like Respawn Entertainment's thing said there is a Skunkworks team working on a project involving Titan mechanics, but it said to not expect anything. There said there would definitely
Here's
be
the thing.
there would definitely be no announcement of the Respawn Skunkworks project in 2025, and definitely no releases planned for 2026. So that's something within
Respawn
Respawn.
released Apex with zero marketing. The only thing about Apex was there was a couple leaks like a week before it came out.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled something like that again because it worked out really well with Apex.
Hmm. And Apex, like when it started, was a good game. Like Anthony and I were totally into it. Were like that was our main game for the longest time, and not when it released. I remember when it released, I was still living in Cape Breton, and Gizzy and I played a little bit of the beta, but not really too much of like the first season. After I moved here and Anthony and I were living in 21 and stuff, we started playing when season 2 launched and crypto came out. Like, so we played from like season 2 up until I don't even know, like season 7 or 8. So we played for 2 or 3 years straight, and then we were just like, this game is just either so broken, or you just
Mm,
get ganked so easily, or there's so many like third partiers worse than any other battle royale game, blah blah. And we just couldn't do it anymore, and we stopped. And I haven't like even opened it since then.
yeah. No, that's fair. So the leakers who actually leaked it are well known for having legitimate Apex Legends leaks. So not just leaking anything, they're actually well known specifically for leaks involving Respawn games.
Hmm. I mean, there's hope, but like, don't do that to me.
There's hope,
Don't keep it.
but my heart's gonna be crushed
Oh
when
yeah,
it doesn't happen.
if it doesn't
That's
happen,
all I'm saying.
yeah. But so it's on. We're
Now,
thinking on about it. We're thinking about it. It's there.
Cap of the Watch asked, any thoughts on video game food you'd want to eat in real life?
Anything made by the Mouster chef on Monster Hunter World.
Uh,
You watch any of those cutscenes and tell me that food does not look delicious.
Video game food.
What are those? Reach. What are those burgers that they made such a meme out of?
Oh,
The bird
the
burgers.
what is that
What is
bird
the bird
called?
called?
Like a weird.
Lord Potato. He's gonna know. You watch.
Yeah, come on, Lord Potato. What's the bird
What's this
in
dude?
Reach?
I remember them like
It's like a
seeing.
one. It's like a short.
Yeah, it's like almost looks like an emu type bird, but
I mean, I don't know, cause like I play games like Fallout a lot, and
I feel like I wouldn't
that
want to
food
eat
is
that.
wasteland food. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously edible because your guy doesn't die, but I probably wouldn't want to eat that.
Like I know it's probably just the equivalent of a mango, but the Wampa fruits from Crash Bandicoot.
No, you failed as Lord Potato.
All right, I'm gonna turn to Google.
I'm already on it. I didn't search
Who's
up
gonna
the
get there
right terms,
first?
and it's just
The
giving me
Moa
real
burgers.
birds. There you go.
If you don't know what a Moa is,
Reach.
it's this beautiful. Oh well, that's an
Yep.
advertisement.
Free advertisement.
For a terrible movie.
Which movie?
The Electric State on Netflix. I heard
I
no.
don't think that was a terrible
I
movie.
didn't watch it. I just didn't. I saw not a single good review about it. This is what a MOA looks like, and there was such a meme in the Halo Reach game about turning these into burgers. There was in-game advertisements for the MOA burger. But or and I
Yeah,
like
I
I've thought about making it because I know the recipe for it. But the sea salt ice cream from Kingdom Hearts 2, it's there.
Oh yeah. No, that's true. Um, okay, I just want to go back. I did watch Electric State.
Oh,
I thought it was a pretty good movie. First of all,
should I watch it?
there's there's no like love interest. It's
Oh,
just
okay,
a
okay,
movie. There's no like B story, no like I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was entertaining. I would watch it again.
okay. I'll put it on my list for later.
Also, watched Godzilla 2014 yesterday, and if anyone hasn't watched
Oh,
that
that's a good
recently, you
one.
should
Oh yeah.
because it's such a good movie. Like the cinematography is so beautiful in that movie. And then you watch like Godzilla X Kong and it's like what
What happened?
happened? How did they go from
Noggin.
this
Big lizard.
amazing beautiful thing to this.
Carry
If
on.
you haven't seen Godzilla X Kong, terrible movie. I basically spent the entire time at the theater laughing about it. And Groot left and I don't know where. But that's okay. Um, yeah. Anyways, hi Noggin. I'm sad that you're not here with us in person, but I'm glad that you're in the chat. What do you have, Groot? What is it?
Well, this is Capital Watch got me thinking about video game food, and this is my problem. And this is the thing. I like cooking. I really do, but I don't like cooking for myself. But my problem is that I have the Minecraft cookbook.
Oh, baby.
I have the Elder Scrolls cookbook.
Bruh.
I have the World of Warcraft cookbook. Like I have all
What
the
the
video game
heck?
foods. I just I don't like
Are
cooking
they
for
like
myself.
actually foods from the video game? Or is
Yeah.
it just real food?
Well, some of them.
Well,
Well, they're
obviously.
they're real food, but it's like
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously the Minecraft ones are like baked potato bites. They're like obviously Minecraft is a little bit harder because there's a very limited food options, but it's like blocks of clay, fudge,
Oh yeah. Cool.
that kind of stuff. And then it's like if
Nice.
I do the Elder Scrolls one, there is a very particular one because you can make sweet rolls. I thought
Oh,
your camera was on, but like
baby.
you can make sweet rolls. It gives you the
Nah.
recipe for sweet rolls. It gives you the recipe for like basically all of the in-game food. Mud crab dip.
Dude, we could totally do a
No,
cooking stream.
We could. Like lavender
like-
and honey bread.
Like you, me, Michael, and Anthony just
I think it'd be
chaos trying to cook.
hilarious. Like if we got permission and if we got permission to do it and like cleaned up after ourselves and stuff, if we got permission to do it at, like the camp kitchen, I think that would be
That would be
the
awesome.
best setup if we got permission to do it
Oh,
as long as
yeah.
we cleaned up. And like World of
That would be
Warcraft one,
sweet.
it's a little bit different, but it's like the Storm Song sour bread recipe. It's like
Oh yeah.
I know I make a mean Mr. Noodles. I also know how to make a mean pirate grog. But anyways,
I make regular Mr. Noodles.
well, this was the thing is that when Sea of Thieves first launched, me, Gizzy, and our friend Jonathan were playing, and shortly after its released, Rare posted a video that was how to make alcoholic and non-alcoholic pirate grog. And so
Nice.
we went to the grocery. We went down to Sobeys. You guys don't have Sobeys out here. We went down to Sobeys, bought like all the stuff we needed, came back to my apartment, had 3 TVs set up with 3 different Xboxes set up, made this giant batch of pirate grog, and every time we drank in game, we had to drink in real life. It was a fun time. The difference is that if you drink in Sea of Thieves, you sober up pretty quickly. That doesn't happen when you're drinking
Yep.
in real life.
Nope.
But it was a good time.
No, it does not. that sounds awesome. That's the kind of thing that's like a ton of fun, but can also be a ton of sketchy and regret.
We did also make sure we had food while we were doing it, so it wasn't like we were
Okay.
just drinking straight alcohol, and it like wasn't even that much alcohol. Like I think in a 4 ingredient recipe, like I think it was like 3 parts everything else and 1 part actual rum in it. Like it was spiced rum too. Like it was dark rum. So, and we were in a
Oh
safe
yeah,
location.
yeah.
None of us were driving anywhere. They all crashed on the couch afterwards.
Nice.
Like I didn't let them leave. I think we
Yeah.
stayed up almost all night too. That was the fun part.
Uh, nice.
Late night Sea of Thieves alcohol
So
stream.
if you guys, uh, whoa, if you guys have any questions for us, other than like our social insurance number, because we're not going to give you that, let us know. And I mean, that's basically what we're doing today. We're just going to chat about stuff. If you
Yeah.
weren't aware, um,
One of the
so
questions. You got something?
nope, go for it.
One of the questions that Capital Watch asked in our Discord server was expensive dice. Your thoughts on them,
Ooh,
and do you think they roll better? Because I have over 30 sets of dice. Only 2, maybe 3 of them I would consider like expensive sets because they're both metal sets and they're like solid metal sets. And I would not. They're fun. They're shiny. They're very pretty. Do they
they
roll
dent your
better?
table. They dent your
They
wall.
do dent my table.
They dent your forehead.
If anybody is ever in my apartment and you look at uh my like light brown table, if you look at the edges where people sit, you will see dents from people rolling dice.
Yeah.
Um,
Here's
but
actually, you finish your thought.
that was it. I don't think
All right. All
they're
right.
fun to roll, and they're like, especially when I'm DMing, they're great for heavy moments because it's like a solid thud when I roll them, and they're like, everybody's like, what was it? What was that for? I'm going to die. But they don't necessarily roll better.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, I own 2 sets of dice. I paid $10 for each one. The only reason I own 2 sets is because I lost one for a while. I unless you buy like one of those cheap Amazon packs, but then you can't really guarantee that they're
Those ones were
you
so
know
bad. That's what
that's the thing. Like they're not
is
balanced. They're not.
no.
And so I don't think it's worth having like a crazy amount of dice. I think it's kind of a waste of money. Um, bro,
Cam doesn't even deserve the title of nerd anymore.
I own a set. I don't actually. I couldn't. Oh, they're in my Magic cards right now. You know what? I own
take that
like
back.
4,000 Magic the Gathering cards. I think I can be called a nerd.
Yeah, he compensates in magic cards.
But yeah, I don't know. I think if you actually enjoy them and play with them lots, sure, go for it. If you buy them and then use them once and realize you don't want to dent your table, that was just a waste of money.
Yeah, I suppose. There's like me and our friend Kale have talked about it a lot about like liquid core dice and whether or not they're worth the
Oh
worth the
yeah,
hype. And I'm like, they would be fun to have. And I think the
yeah.
cheapest one I've seen, I saw GameStop had a set one of the last times I was in there, and they were like $35. Michael just threw off
Oh,
everything. Now I have to readjust this. Like, you see
well,
this nonsense?
let's. If he's just here for a moment, we can just lean over.
You gotta lean the opposite
Yo,
direction.
how's it going?
What's up?
You gotta go the opposite
Not
direction,
much.
Cam.
Oh,
There you go.
oh.
What's up?
I have my video on now. Heck yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, you don't.
Oh, are you just joining us for the
You're
rest?
like,
But I sat there and was like, I bet you I could. So yeah, how's it going?
Good. So,
That's
Michael,
great.
since you're here, this is perfect timing. What's your
oh
opinion?
no!
Oh, and Anthony's opinion. We're just gonna get
Hey,
everyone's
guys.
opinion
Oh my
on
gosh.
expensive dice. What do you guys think?
Hold on, I can fix this.
Oh, well. I think this is an absolute ridiculous thing to choose.
Oh, now I got the audio coming through both of them.
Yeah, you guys gotta like get in separate rooms, or just go on one
You're gonna make
person's
me go to my
screen.
room?
Wait,
Fine
that
then.
fixes
I'll
what?
go to my room, Mom.
These are
So
all out of whack.
surprise
3
everybody!
a.m.
They're both
Walk
joining
into my
anyways.
room.
Nope, we don't need that one. Listen, now we have technical difficulties because now everybody's all switched around.
I'm Steve.
Yeah, you're
Look, now I have
temporarily
to open
staged.
up a door.
I'm not
Look
Steven anymore.
outside.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my word.
Well,
Hold on. We'll fix it. We'll get there.
so Anthony, what are your thoughts on expensive dice?
They be cool, but they're expensive. Like it's there are some really cool ones that I would like, and when they're made properly, they're they're and they're properly weighted and whatnot. They're pretty awesome, but they get quite pricey. And most of the time, if you test your cheap dice, they work just as fine. Like if you're looking for the aesthetic, then go for it. Otherwise, it's not necessary.
Yeah, I have the same opinion I do about buying cool rims for a truck. Do they make it go any more vroom vroom? If no, then why?
That is a
Yeah.
good opinion.
Yeah.
Because I could spend a lot of money on dice, where I could just order it in bulk from Amazon and always have some.
Yeah.
Well,
How are you guys doing?
Thing is, so
doing
so
great.
have all three of you bought like bulk Amazon dice?
Yep.
I have not. No.
Okay, are they like unbalanced and bad dice?
Some of them were. So when I bought mine, it was back when Anthony and I were both still living in 21, and I gave a set to Anthony because they were bright orange, and they were absolutely terrible to roll.
Very bad. They're
Oh,
real bad.
that's right. I haven't made one for Anthony yet.
Oh yeah, I guess he wasn't here when you did those.
Nope. He doesn't get a name tag yet. He can be Steve for now.
Nice.
Just kidding.
Can we
Just leave it.
should we call him Steve for the rest of the
Steve.
night?
We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it. We'll leave him blank for the moment. I'll have to adjust that later.
It's like
Nice.
watch the various people walk in and out of here.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sure it'll be. It's whatever. It's
Be
whatever.
fine.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Nothing
if
to
you
worry
guys
about.
don't know, we're just talking about random crap because I was sick and didn't plan our game show or invite our guests. So
Yeah, we heard.
yeah.
That'll be fine.
Well, in that case, you know what? I have some questions.
Oh no!
Heck yeah.
Like what?
Send it.
Folks, I want to know.
What love is?
I already know. I'm married. That's right.
I thought it was a funny joke. Anyways.
This Nitwit got nice wife. It's pretty cool. If you could have one franchise, create a video game of it, or make a better video game, which franchise would you want a video game of? And I came up with this question while driving one day because I sat there and went, you know what would be cool? An open world, Witcher-esque Mad Max game. I think that'd be sick.
I would have to say a Pacific Rim game where you just fight kaiju. Like it's
Would it be co-op? Would you only be able to play as two players?
Dude, no, totally. Like you'd have to like have two players, and then if you had four, you could have a team of two. So like, it would be complicated to make it work well, but I think it'd be sick to have two people have to like control it together.
I don't think it would be that complicated because we already have some games that are very much grounded on co-op with It Takes Two.
That'd be an
A Way
insane
Out.
VR game.
Ooh,
Oh
Yeah, it
man,
would be
that
nuts.
would be insane.
that would be wild. That would be
Yeah, I
wild.
think a Pacific Rim game where you just take on like harder and harder kaiju, and like even if you could do like co-op up to 8 people, so you could have like 4 Jaegers on your team, and you're like
Okay,
fighting
yeah.
kaiju off. It would be
Can somebody
crazy.
just message the creators of Helldivers and get them to make this game? Like, right now. Like, right now. Like, I mean, I
Like, right
want
now?
it, Cameron. Like, right now.
I did not come up with this idea today. I watch Pacific Rim all the time, and I had that idea one time while watching it.
Like, that is genius.
Yeah, I do also think like a Halo ODST game, but like an extraction shooter. I think that would be sick as well.
Basically, just
Ooh,
Helldivers, isn't it?
Basically, it is, but it's Halo. So
But
then it's
Halo.
like you're
That would
fighting
be fun, yeah.
Covenant and that kind of thing, or the
That'd be really
Banished.
cool.
Yeah, that would be good.
I got so many like dream games that I know will never happen, but I can dream.
I feel like I was just talking about this. It might have been with Michael a few days ago, and I can't even remember what I said now.
I'd also love, like, a Civilization 6-esque version of Lord of the Rings, where you pick one of the
Oh.
groups of Lord of the Rings and you build it up. What would
Yes.
you pick, Anthony?
Oh man, that's an interesting question. What was the wording of the question again?
If you could pick a franchise that doesn't already have a video game of it, or a franchise that has bad video games but you want to make a good one, what franchise would you pick?
Oh man,
I mean, well, he's thinking. An actual good open world Avatar game, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, or an
Oh.
open world
Are
Full
you
Metal
talking
Alchemist.
like would that be like an MMO? Or are you thinking like
I'm thinking more like Jedi Survivor esque,
Okay.
kind of like open world, or like Breath of the Wild or something like that, where it's like you've got these different areas you have to progress through. There's puzzles based on the different elements and yada yada yada. You like start.
Yeah.
You get to choose. Like it'd be really cool if you got to choose what your starting bending was. But then you had to travel to like master. Like if you start with fire, to travel to master fire. Then you had to like you could choose like which one you want to do next. Like if you could do water or do air or do earth, and like progress that way. I think it'd be really cool because then like everybody would have a different journey. Everybody would have a different game, a different play style. That kind of stuff.
that's awesome. I think another game I'd like to
That'd be
see
sick.
is another Force Unleashed game, but like for the Xbox.
That would be dope. Yeah.
yeah.
I can think of so many games that I would also just love like a remaster, like even like
Yeah.
Gizzy Wash saying like Lord of the Rings Conquest, but maybe a little more balanced too. Would be
Yeah,
sick.
no kidding.
No balance.
What do you mean, the
Like-
Balrog's OP or something? Come on. What do you mean, guys?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Anthony, got
What would you
got a
pick,
thought yet?
Anthony?
I've had two. Like one that I would like to see like a remastered version would be like Just Cause 2 or Just Cause 3.
Just cause.
Oh yeah.
Those were because Just Cause 4 went. It was okay, but did not do nearly as well as 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a game that I was like, as a franchise series that I would like to see like a really well done game would be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that's
Like,
true.
Yeah.
There's multiple ways that you could take that, and which would be really cool because I grew up with At World's End on the PlayStation 2, and it was a third-person kind of top-down hack and slash type game, and it was pretty awesome. So it's like a proper like Pirates of the Caribbean game would be pretty cool. Like there's many different routes you could make it in different genres, for sure. But I think that'd be awesome.
I think like the flip side is if you don't like, I love Full Metal Alchemist as an anime. If you don't know anything about it, basically everybody has a different type of alchemy that they perform, and like some people can do it instantly. Some people have to like have the symbols and stuff on. Like Mustang has them on his gloves when he uses his fire alchemy and stuff. I think that would be fun if you're like progressing through the whole area of that show, but it uses the Nemesis system. So it's like people that have like minor alchemy versus major alchemy. If you fight them, they beat you. They gain like more power and stuff. You have to keep fighting them. Like the homunculus show up, all that kind of things. Like
Oh.
I think that would be dope.
Can we all just have a moment of silence for the Nemesis system?
Dude, hey, no, the cop that runs out. Okay, it's
in
runs out
Yeah,
in
10
can we have a
years.
moment of silence
but it runs
for
out one
yeah.
day, and we'll still
Dude.
be alive and kicking for it.
10 years.
My kid will be going through puberty when
I'll
it
be
comes back.
40.
I can't wait that long.
I'll be 40.
My kid's not born yet. He'll probably be going through puberty when it comes back. Can we just take a
I-
moment of silence for it, please?
I think. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I think a movie that would make a really good video game. Uncharted.
Oh my goodness, you're funny. You're funny.
You know what'd be a really good show that'd make a great game? Last of Us.
Yeah, right.
I wish I
Exactly.
could make a TV show out of this. It was an underground movie. It was supposed to be a blockbuster, but I think it's more of a cult classic. It's called Prince of Persia. Don't know if you've heard of it. I really think that could be a TV show.
That showed up. I was scrolling through movies the other night. I was like, I should watch that again. And then I didn't. I watched The Pacifier instead.
Except the other thing I thought of, the other question I have, is if you could just go around inserting random characters into other properties, who would you pick? And one of the things I thought of is like the Prince of Persia movie, but Indiana Jones just shows up in it partway through. Going after the same dagger, that would be funny. Just like, sorry,
that'd be
what?
good.
Harrison Ford at 70 just starts mulling around in the Persian desert.
I feel like there's other things too where like I feel like something like Edge of Tomorrow, like I feel like you could make a good game of that. You'd have to be like intentional with it, but like if you just had like infinite lives and you had to keep trying to get like further and further into the war as you went through, like things like that, I think you can make a really cool game out of.
That'd be cool. I think another funny character, like if you just introduce a character into that movie, is you're just sitting there going along, and all of a sudden the Terminator just shows up. You're like, huh? What?
Excuse me?
Yeah. But no,
I
what are some of
do-
your guys' like characters you just want to introduce into other properties?
I mean, this is the most obvious thing I could say. No one's not gonna know what I'm gonna say.
Master
But
Chief in
I
any medieval
do-
game.
Master Chief in Star Wars.
Well, dude, Master Chief in anything, first of all. But I do feel like, and this is, I'm thinking, okay, Master Chief, but in Pacific Rim, but in like a giant Master Chief mech suit.
Oh my goodness.
I think that would be sick.
Wondering also if you mount that thing in the back and
Nice.
Right. Man, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like something that would be really funny, and I don't know.
I mean, there's always the classic one where you have the Muppets do Lord of the Rings, but which character is still human?
Aragorn.
I feel like
I would pick the Witch King. Every
I
other
think you
character
just have
is a
Gandalf
Muppet.
actually
the
be
Witch
Gandalf still, but then everyone else is a Muppet. But one thought I had, I think it would be sick if you had like Maverick from Top Gun in Star Wars, like flying an X-wing or something. He'd basically just be Poe Dameron, but I
Yeah.
think that'd be sick.
It'd be pretty sick. One of the other things that I would love to have, and it's more of a goofy thing, was like all of a sudden just have Uncle Buck show up in some random movie. Any one of John Candy's characters, just bang, there he is. Or the dude from The Big Lebowski, just literally just have him mulling around in the background of some Avengers movie. There's like Captain America's fighting a bunch of Nazis, and then the dude's just sitting there in the back drinking half and half.
Have you guys
So
seen that render that someone did? It was a school project, and they turned a scene from Pacific Rim into the Muppets. Have you seen that? Or like puppets?
No.
I need to find this right
Oh
now.
my goodness. I
Somebody
mean,
find
if
that,
you could
post it
find
into
it
the
and
Discord
play
channel.
it on stream, Joel. Oh yeah. Okay.
Let me see. Let me see if I can find it.
Needless to say,
It is
The Muppets is one of my
so
favorite
epic.
things in the world. Hello there, my name is Kermit the Frog here, and I'm going to be looking for a little bit of an
I'm
interesting
not sure if this is
factoid
the
on this one.
right one. Is it like a big blue greenish puppet looking thing?
Yes. Yes.
Hold on. Let me
I'm so excited for this.
I don't even know where I can put it. Hold on. I have to switch this real
it's
quick.
a really short clip, and they didn't even fully finish rendering it, but it's so
Oh my
amazing.
goodness.
Yoink. Yep. What is this?
So good.
I want a full movie. Give them all the money. All the money that Disney gave to Snow White and didn't make back. Give it to them.
Oh my gosh.
This is where the Snow White money should have gone to, guys. Right here. This is where the Snow White money should have gone to.
Yeah,
That is-
I can't
that's the wrong
believe
one.
you guys haven't seen that.
This one.
That's so funny.
That's good. I like that. Any other
Beans.
Oh my gosh.
Heck yeah, I have another random question.
Oh yeah, bring it on.
How many of you guys saw or read about the direwolf clones?
Oh, we talked about that already.
We actually talked
did?
about
That was the
that.
first thing we covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Did you talk about like what animal you would want to clone if you could?
yes.
Nice.
But what do you guys?
What
have
did you
to
guys say?
Yeah, what would you guys say?
I mean,
for-
I was
for
watching. What are you
clone
talking about?
Animal
I could clone one animal?
that is extinct. Like if you could bring something back.
Oh.
Michael Jackson.
Oh man.
Just so I could see his
I-
nose fall off.
That's weird.
So, Anthony, what about you? Saber-tooth tiger?
We're not going to mention what the gecko guy said, but oh man, an extinct animal that's a clone. First of all, I didn't even know that the direwolves were clones. I just knew that the direwolves were something that was happening. So that's news to me. Clearly, I've been busy. Oh man, I think the woolly mammoth would be
That's their next project.
my go-to.
They did the dire wolves and they're like, yeah, our next project is to bring back the woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
Well, sounds about right. But those things are absolutely
dodo.
massive, so have fun.
I'd like a dodo.
It does.
And I'd like to give
Big.
them a watermelon and watch them play football.
Yeah, dude, same. I said the dodo too. It does
Nice.
beg the question though. If things went extinct 13,000 years ago, like not from humans, should we really be bringing them back?
I watched
Like-
Jurassic Park. I know what the answer is.
No.
Well,
Laura
cloning
on a
dinosaurs
lawyer
is
on
a
a toilet
whole
gets
other
eaten.
thing.
Life
Well,
finds a
fine.
way.
Yeah, so that would be my one question is like cloning things that, went extinct because of us. It's like, yeah, that's a great idea. We caused that, let's fix it. Cloning things that, just died off because they sucked at living. Should we bring them back?
You know what?
Except
Cameron,
the dodo. The dodo's an exception.
they,
the dodo deserves
Quote
to live.
unquote sucked at living. I guess I gotta get busy living or get busy dying, and they chose the second option.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's their bad. Okay,
Yeah.
that doesn't. I'm just saying the woolly mammoth didn't die from humans, and neither did
Yeah.
the direwolf.
And it's also the thing of like,
The most common theory with the woolly mammoths is that the last stray population walked onto an island when the ocean was lower, and then they ate all the vegetation and died out. That sounds like sucking at life.
What were you gonna say there, Anthony?
well, it's also the thing of like, mammoths are like sizably larger than elephants, and elephants are the largest land walking creature by quite a bit. It's like our current world does not have the vegetation to supply a creature so large, and in turn does not have, and because that cannot survive and not in mass numbers, as well as all the other creatures that are slowly going extinct. That means all the carnivores that are absolutely massive cannot feast on those guys, and that means so it's like it's a thing of like there's not enough food for the big guys, therefore there's not enough big guys for the bigger meat eaters and whatnot. So
Right.
and there's
Yeah,
just
without
there's a
bringing
lot of
back
people.
without bringing back the whole ecosystem, you risk the danger of things running wild and rampant, kind of the same way invasive species do. Because technically,
Yeah.
because they went extinct years ago, they are invasive no matter where you put them because they don't exist.
Yeah, and it's also the thing of like, well, there for a lot of the people are everywhere. Like we have managed to get ourselves in a spot where we settle everywhere. Also, like every time that from what I understand, the whole everything before the mass extinction of a lot of these creatures, the world was a more humid and tropical environment in a more areas of the land rather than now where it's a little bit more temperate and deserty and a lot more, and so there's a lot less habitable uh, forests and jungles than there were before. So due to science.
No, totally. Yeah. In case anyone was wondering, none of us are professionals, and we are just saying things we probably know, but might not know. So you should fact check anything we say. We can be wrong. This is all opinion based.
We're not professionals.
Never fact check me. I only spit facts.
Let's go.
I'm a fact spitter.
Nah.
Factually.
Technically, you could argue I'm a professional IT technician, but that's about it. If I'm talking about anything else, I don't really know what I'm talking about.
I'm a professional nitwit.
Well, do you know what I think professionally? I think that professionally, hot dogs are tacos.
Oh, no, we're not starting this.
So,
Hot
anybody
dog,
else in
no.
the chat have any other
Hard
random nerd-like
tacos.
questions for us?
Burgers or sandwiches.
Michael,
Hot dogs or tacos.
I'm gonna
We
mute
could
him.
talk.
Michael, don't make me come down there. I will.
Come down here, see what happens. We can live stream a fist fight.
Did anybody else see that?
That's somebody else's property.
Cam is frozen again.
I'll take you down and show you
Oh,
how much
man.
of a hot
he's
dog a
fixed again.
taco is.
I'm not entering the next Rivals tournament. Not a chance.
We're just gonna have a bunch of
Though on random Rivals
missionaries
news,
and
season
watch
2 starts tomorrow, and we get Emma Frost
Well, there you go.
and Ultron later on.
I have many pyramid
Am I
scheme.
frozen again?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. Well,
No,
my
that's Emma
stream's
Frost.
really far behind. So Switch 2, game price.
Ooh.
Expensive.
Have you guys seen that?
Too expensive.
Too
Yeah.
expensive. Because Mario Kart World, which is the launch title for the Switch 2, is launching at $89.99 USD. Not Canadian, USD. So for us, it's going to be
Yeah,
over
ridiculous.
$100 for Mario Kart World. Unless you buy it as like the Switch and game, or like the console and game bundle, in which case you save like $30 or something like that. But
Which is still
a lot.
the new Switch is $629.99 CAD. I could buy an Xbox Series X for almost the same price.
Guys, I think we say screw America.
Well, this is the
screw
thing
them.
is that
They're horrible. We got to make our own video games.
But this isn't.
I want to see a Mario Kart that's a Canadian version instead of Mario being some Italian, Japanese, Mexican plumber.
But this is the
I want a
thing,
moose
is that
on
like,
a dirt bike.
the Switch and Mario Kart aren't even being developed by Nintendo of America. They're being developed by Nintendo in Japan. Like everything is coming
Yeah,
from
and they're
Japan,
selling it
and
in
that's what the
American
US
dollars.
price is. That's what the US price currently is, and they've even they put a stop on the pre-orders in the US because they were like they're like, we want to sit here and think about the impact the tariffs are going to have on the industry and on the console and everything else, and then they did the same thing to Canada as well. So the pre-orders were supposed to go live.
I want a Canadian
yesterday.
version of Mario Kart.
The pre-orders were supposed to go live today, and then they put them on pause for everywhere except for basically like the UK and like that side of the world because of the tariffs and everything. So
like
that sounds like colonialism in the UK getting whatever they want.
Sick, I'll admit, but
it does look cool.
$629
is a lot
for a Switch. I'd rather buy a PS5, like 100%.
I could buy like a couple Magic cards for that price.
Like just a couple.
Just a couple.
Buy a couple like, boosters with that.
And that was like so. Our friend Rexter was streaming today, and I ended up talking about it with him while he was streaming. And the comment that came to my head is they're trying to sell a last gen console at next gen prices because compared to the PS5 and the Series X, the Switch 2, for all of its innovation, and like the biggest thing that's going for is the fact that it's a handheld console, is a generation behind. Like by this point, the Series X and the PS5 have been out for 2-3 years now.
Yeah, well, least. 2020 or 2021. No, it was late 2020 that they released.
So yeah, like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
like pushing 4 or 5 years. And the Switch 2 is only just releasing in June with 4K compatibility. And like that's the biggest thing. Yeah. They dropped the battery life on it is dropped almost in half. It's got 4K compatibility. It's supposed to have 4K compatibility handheld mode too. Is the other thing, or like it's supposed to.
No, I think they said 1080p
or 1080, but like which is cool for a handheld. But I'm like I can go and buy a ROG like handheld computer for less than a Switch 2 right now.
Yeah, and the ROG can do way more.
Yeah.
The only thing
also the thing of like
that the Switch 2 has running
for it. PlayStation 5.
Go for it, Anthony.
Well, it's also the thing of like the PlayStation 5 and the Series X are competing with PC on their hardware.
Yeah.
And their capabilities. So if we're going to go based off of that, where does the Switch 2 compare to, say, the Stream Deck, which is Steam's portable system?
Oh yeah. Well, it's the thing of most of every other company's portable system can do anything you can do on a computer. Like people are buying Legion Go's and ROG Allies, and I mean they're doing these crazy setups, but they are using it as their main computer. But then they can just unplug it from everything on their desk, take it with them, go do whatever they want for the day. Come back, plug it all in. It's their computer again. They've got it hooked up to a monitor. Like the Switch doesn't do that, not to that degree. And the Switch is stuck with only Nintendo games or other games that are allowed on it. But that, like the only purchasing point I see for myself for the Switch 2 is if Nintendo comes out with a Switch game that's only on Switch that I really want to play. But for the regular Switch, that was like $400. For this Switch, no matter how bad I want to play the game, that's too much money.
Yeah, it's like $700, pushing $700 after taxes. And like that's even like what Gizzy said is that because Gizzy, if you didn't know, is a big fan of FromSoft games. He loves Dark Souls, he loves Elden Ring, blah blah. There is a FromSoft game coming exclusively to the Switch 2, not any other console. It looks great. It looks fun. It's a new game. It's a brand new game that I forget what it's called. I forget what it's called, but it's like a brand new FromSoft game that's launching only on the Switch 2. Duskbloods, that's what it's called. Yeah. And
interesting.
That
seems like bull crap.
And whether this is the thing, is like, is it exclusive at launch, or is it going to be like actually just exclusive to the Switch 2?
Yeah.
And
I
it's
don't think
like,
it depends how good that game is. I'm not buying a Switch 2.
yeah.
I would rather find another way to play that game.
And which there will be. People will make a way. And part of the thing that I was talking about with Rexter earlier today is that even like most of my consoles, I got them for specific reasons. It's like I got a PS5 to play God of War, Horizon, like all those games that up until like the last year or so you couldn't play on anything else. So it only just came to PC. Some of those games only just came to PC in a little while. But I bought my PS5 to play those games, and then it was like the half nostalgic factor for me is that I bought the PS5 to play games that I think belong on PlayStation. It's like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, Final Fantasy, that kind of stuff. I bought play on my PS5. The Xbox I bought is because every single other person I know has Xbox, and I love Xbox. I love Xbox as a console. It's a great console, but like at the time, especially, that was like the whole reason behind buying an Xbox. I bought a Switch, I bought a 3DS, I bought all the Nintendo exclusives for very specific reasons. To play Zelda, to play Mario Kart, play Mario Party, to play Pokemon. And like it's going to be the same thing with the Switch 2. Eventually I probably will end up buying it because it looks like a cool system, it's a fun system. I think the new capabilities for it are great in theory. There are a few things I'm like, I don't feel like this is necessary. Like their whole camera system looks like garbage.
Yeah.
It looks like garbage. The PS2 eye camera worked better than that thing by the looks of it. The Kinect on the 360 looked better and worked better by the looks of it. Like I watched some of the Treehouse, they do like the Nintendo Treehouse live after some of their directs, and you can like share like your camera view and share your gameplay at like the bottom of the screen while you're all playing like Mario Kart and something, and it runs at like 8 frames a second.
Ooh.
And
Oh my goodness.
it's I'll send the link into the Discord later because it's so bad. I'm like, why is this necessary? If we wanted to do it, we have game capture cards, we have Discord, we have like all this stuff.
Yeah.
If we want to do it, and it's like,
man.
even what Emma said, she makes a good point. Like there are certain games that are great to be able to travel with, like playing Pokemon on the go, lifesaver whenever I fly home, because that is a long trip.
7's going to be on the Switch too.
I just have an emulator on my phone to play it.
There's that too, but it's like having like the ability to play Mario Kart on the plane or playing Legend of Zelda, like being able to do that is great, and I love it. But like you said, there are emulators, and I have emulators on my phone for certain Game Boy Advance games. I'm like, I'm bored. I got a few minutes. I can play Pokemon, or I can play Minish Cap or something like that.
They're going to have Borderlands 4 on the Switch too.
Yeah.
The Kirby Air Riders remake. Metroid Prime 4.
I
That one
can't
would
wait for
tempt
Prime
me a little
4.
bit. That would tempt
And that's the
me.
thing, is that like there are games made only for Nintendo consoles, like Prime and Zelda and Pokemon, that I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, and I will buy the Switch 2 to play those games. But unless something happens where I've suddenly become a millionaire, I ain't buying that day one, because that's $700. That's just
Yeah.
and it's too high.
Yeah. And it's also the thing of like, if you want to do exclusives like that, which Nintendo, I think, has the most exclusives outside of PlayStation, where it's like Nintendo has so much of their own stuff, which is awesome, and it keeps them honestly relevant still. Because if it wasn't for the fact that they kept making more games that are just their own, and you can only get it on Nintendo-based consoles, it's like with where their hardware is and how their systems are running, it's like either catch up or get left behind, because Sony and Microsoft are killing it, and you're gonna have to catch up.
The problem is, the Switch is actually killing it more. The Switch is one of the best-selling consoles of all time. I think it surpassed the PS2. Part of that's price point. I could be wrong. Like I said, we're opinion-based here. I'm just making stuff up at this point. No, I don't know. I thought I saw something about it getting close. But like even MPG, like what she said, is you can play both those games on a ROG Ally, a Legion Go, a Steam Deck. Like they anything that isn't Nintendo exclusive is now portable if you buy one of those systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys know anybody who had the Xbox Connect? Like, I knew zero people who bought that. That's like something that
Anyone.
came out. I remember seeing advertisements for it. I was like, what? Who actually had one?
I knew one
I
person.
knew one person who had to connect, and it was not good.
Because the
It
Wii
was-
came out, and like everybody, I knew people. I had a Wii. I knew people who had Wii's, but the Connect, I think that died.
Well, the Kinect was a very poorly designed idea. Yeah, Microsoft has a history of trying new things, but only half trying, and then it never works. Nothing works. Microsoft Edge, Copilot, Cortana, everything Microsoft does is terrible, but they've got a monopoly on things, so they just get to keep being terrible. Microsoft is like half of my job because they're just so crappy. We always have to fix people's problems. So, I got strong
my ex-
feelings about Microsoft. I think so.
Yeah, funny.
Gizzyware says even like the Switch is more friendly to casual gamers, and that's true. The Switch one was, but again, even with what Mr. Pundit said too, like when I worked at Best Buy, same thing. It's way easier to sell people on a Switch, but that's because when you talked about what games it had, and then the price difference between a Switch and a Series X or a Switch and a PS5, people were like, "Oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't I just get that for my kid?
Right?
Way more kid-friendly games, cheaper price."
Yeah.
The Switch 2 now still has those kid-friendly games, and it's cool that it's going to have things like Borderlands 4 and like the
Elden
Dust
Ring
Bloods or whatever.
from
But
games.
it doesn't have the price point that helped the Switch sell so well. Like that, I think that was a big part of the Switch doing well. Is that, and then they did release even a cheaper model like the Switch Lite, and I hope they do a Switch 2 Lite because there's totally people who only play handheld. At which point the Lite
Otherwise, it's
was
gonna be
a
too late
huge
here.
thing. But then, yeah, the Switch OLED being a more expensive model too. Like they thought it out a little bit.
And like I said this to Rexter earlier. It's like they didn't need to up their prices to like, because the thing is gonna like the comment I made is like they did it to be competitive with Xbox and PlayStation, but it's still, I'm like, they didn't need to because the Switch is going to sell regardless, even as high of a price as it is, and even as high as the games are currently priced. Like they're going to sell. Like there's no doubt about that. People aren't happy about it, but they're going to sell.
And part of that, I think, definitely falls into the fact that they're selling like those kid-friendly games. Like if you look at it, Nintendo has branded themselves as kid-friendly because I know people who had trouble convincing their parents to buy an Xbox because the Xbox could have Modern War, not because it had Modern War, but just because that's what was branded on it.
The interesting thing for me when I think about the Switch is most people I know if they have a Switch, they also have an Xbox or PlayStation 5. Like the Switch doesn't compete with the other consoles. They've always done well. Nintendo's always done well keeping in their own niche, and then their stuff just sells. And so that's where, so many people I know that have a Switch also have one or the other of the two other consoles, but then they also have a Switch. So many people have two consoles, and it's just wild.
Part of the reason for that too also is that Nintendo seems to be the only company building for couch games.
Yep, they are the party
Like
game
Xbox
console.
and PS4 have jumped
Nintendo does
on
this
online.
Well. Like, with Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a comment I made while talking to Rexter earlier, and I can't remember what it was now. Well, the thing I think even with the higher priced games is I do think that it'll cause people to slow down a little bit. Like if you're spending like to a certain extent, like not necessarily because like even stuff like Assassin's Creed just came out and WoW just came out and both of them are priced around the same $90 price point, whatever. If the games are more expensive though, as long as they have the content behind them, so like Mario Kart World looks fantastic. The open world stuff, they say there's DLC coming. They didn't say whether or not it's gonna be paid DLC or free DLC or whatever it's gonna be. They said that eventually down the road there will be DLC.
It'll be paid.
It'll probably be paid. But if you're constantly spending, $100+, like $100 plus tax on games, then for some people it will cause them to like take a step back and be like, hey, I'm going to get like as much playtime out of this game as I can before I get bored with it and have to buy a new one. And it's like they might, and then because of that, they might also take more time developing their games because then they can spread it out a little bit more, knowing that it might have a longer lifespan than whatever else. Like it's been a while since the Switch 1 came out, but it's one of those things. It's like if Mario Kart World, for example, offers $100 price point and you get 200 hours worth of enjoyment out of it, then like that's a good game. And if you're spending a quarter of a year playing that one game before the next big game you're interested comes out, then in theory like it works out that way.
Yeah, it's because it's like you gotta, especially when you're sitting at like $100 games. Like it was something that you mentioned in the Discord earlier. Is like the only version of like Civ 7 that was over $100 was the Founders Edition, and that was a huge amount of content that goes with that. It's like for a system, a company that has always prided themselves on family-friendly, couch party, co-op stuff, and cheap or affordable would be the correct term to use there. Like family-friendly, couch, affordable. It's like that has been a massive staple for Nintendo since they've started selling consoles with the NES, and it's just an interesting thought process of like, okay, if we have this scenario where people have an Xbox or a PlayStation 5, the two big competitors, but they also have a Nintendo because it's affordable and you can do it's like, now you're going to make us choose between 3 expensive consoles and 3 brands of expensive games. It's like that's kind of hard to argue of like, is Nintendo making the right decision to go this route?
Yeah.
I think maybe.
And will the games be worth it?
Well, so this is something that I actually have read about. I'm not pulling this one out of my butt. But
I don't believe you.
if you look at the price of games historically,
You can't read.
even accounting for inflation, video games have actually gotten cheaper across every single generation until, like, I think it was the mid 2000s, so around 2008, where there was a little bit of a jump. But historically speaking, even this jump, video games were still way more expensive, accounting for inflation, back for the Atari or the NES or the N64 or even the Wii than they will be for the Switch. So
you're telling me
it is the thing of we've kind of been privileged a little bit because games have not gone up with inflation the same way most other things have. And so now that they are going up, not that I agree with them going up, but now that they are, there is an argument to be made that it's actually, fairly legitimate.
To a certain extent, because I was doing this earlier while I was talking to Rexter. When Star Fox Adventures came out, It was a Zelda-esque Star Fox game. Tons of tons of hours into it. It's a fun game, fun puzzle-esque adventure title. It launched at $49.99 in 2000 whatever. Did the math? That only equates to $74 today. So a new game, and that was like a full game with no everything into it, all the extra side quests, all the extra side missions, like everything that was packed into it was in a single game, priced at $50. You can't you can't even pay $75 for a game right now, unless it's a game that is still in game preview or early access or whatever else, or it's like even games like Path of Exile 2. Path of Exile was a free game. Path of Exile 2 is still in early access, and you have to pay a minimum of like $50 to play that game. But you can't buy a game for $70 anymore. Like even a brand new Xbox games like Wilds was $89.
It sounds like expensive games, according to Cameron, are in direct relation to the 2008 housing crisis. And based on the housing crisis currently, we're about to get a lot of expensive video games.
Games like
it's an inside
Split
job.
Fiction wasn't
I blame George Bush.
that expensive. Split Fiction was like 65 or Canadian dollars. So there are really high quality, well-made games coming out for cheaper still. It's just that it's not that common.
Because of the housing crisis and George Bush.
Yeah. You're right. It's not that common because even when Helldivers came out, we were all like, "This is a great cheap game or like cheaper game that we play nonstop for weeks." And there are still people that play it nonstop, and of course we should probably play Helldivers again soon. But it's a game that is a year old now, over a year old now, and people still have a consistent, and the price point hasn't changed.
We just
thank
thank
the fifth of my rent.
the creators of Baldur's Gate 3 for all of the amazing free things they have created for us.
Yeah, dude, the creators of Baldur's Gate just went
Larian
wild.
is
They
beautiful.
were like, nah, no DLC, we're done. And then they just kept updating the game anyways, even though they said they were done with it, and adding things crazy.
That's people who truly love what they do.
And then they
New
gave
subclasses
built-in
every
mod
class.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Larian just was like, no, we're done. But maybe we're not.
Yeah.
Or we need more people to be like that.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like they've already said I think their last title update is out or coming soon. It's coming very soon for Baldur's Gate 3, and they said they've already started working on their next title. I'm like, good. I can't wait for it. Because it's I remember I bought Baldur's Gate 3 in 2021, 2022, when it was you could buy it in early access and play all of Act 1. And I was talking to Garrett, I think I've talked to Anthony about it too, playing the early access Act 1 versus playing Act 1 now is so funny because the dog Scratch has changed, Karlak has changed, all these different characters. I've seen the progression of changes in between early access and the game, and it's so good.
It's awesome.
Going back a little bit, Gizzy is correct. There was something with Helldivers. Unfortunately, it wasn't the studio. It was Sony. Sony pulled a Sony and screwed a whole bunch of people over. So when the game released, you didn't have to sign into a PSN account. Then 3 months later, after millions of people had purchased it, they added a requirement where you had to sign into a PSN account to play it. The problem is, there were countries where you could buy and play the game, and people had hundreds of hours in the game, and then they got locked out because you can't create a PSN account in that country. So that was where it had big issues, and then they kept overbalancing things. So something would be too powerful, and they just nerf it to crap, or something would be powerful enough, and then it would just become crazy powerful for a little while. But they've gotten much better.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
We're starting to hit that point of our night. So, anybody have any closing thoughts on our random culmination of shenanigans?
Who wants to see the Nitwits play Baldur's Gate 3 together?
Oh, I do.
Last week we said, hey, please send a reaction if you want to hear us talk about Lord of the Rings.
Nobody did
Do
it.
you want to watch us all play Baldur's Gate 3 together,
Mod free.
might as well react, see
Zero
what
mod
happens. And you guys could design our characters for us. That'd be awesome.
No.
I'm not giving them that freedom.
Yeah.
They have to donate money to our to the
power.
podcast for that.
Yeah.
Hey,
here's the deal.
That's
If
not
you
true, Garrett.
donate $100.
I disagree.
Groot, you can pick and design one of our characters.
Oh, dude, I'll send $100 to the podcast to design Joel's character.
Then you can pick Joel's character.
I'm
Hey,
afraid
let's
already.
help him pay. We're paying your rent, so you let him do what he wants.
Whatever. Moving on. All right. Any other
That's
closing
right, I
thoughts?
do what I want.
Yeah, I've done other runs, Garrett. That's a story for another time. Anyways, any other closing thoughts? Going once, going twice. Sold. Via's
Thanks
bitter.
for joining.
I had a thought. I lost a thought. Are we doing that thing on Saturday? Have we decided that yet?
Heck yeah.
So,
I'll
Isn't
be
there
there.
already Magic planned on Saturday, though?
Well, they tried to make that plan.
That's
I don't know. We'll talk about it later. There might be something coming on Saturday. I don't know. You have to stay tuned. Bye-bye.
See ya.
So, any closing thoughts?
Well,
I'm sure I'll end up with a Switch 2 one day, but I'm gonna be sad when I cave in.
Oh, yeah, like for sure.
Yeah.
I'm never
Yeah,
gonna
you
cave
know,
in because I'm gonna put
it's
sports
funny.
in.
A lot of people thought GTA 6 was gonna be the game that kind of set the precedent for games becoming more expensive, and then it turns out Nintendo did it with Mario Kart. That's kind of crazy. Kind of wild, if
Little bit
you
wild.
will.
I'm waiting on this new
Kinda.
game. It seems really cool. It's based around like you being a space trader and you're sending things around from planet to planet, and it's actually awesome.
I
And just the
thought
way that
you
it
were gonna
moves
make
with
another
this-
Dragon
the-
Nuts joke.
the thing. No, it's called Uranus 3. Come on.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
All right. Good night, everybody.